Good evening, good folks out there in Thrash Pondo land. It looks like I'm live. As always, I went on a little bit early. I decided I wanted to use StreamYard for tonight, so I'm using my personal computer, which hopefully will work out. If it doesn't, we will do one of two things. Either I'll try again on the PC with YouTube, or depending on what time it is, we'll just call it early because Dave Sundstrom is having a live chat tonight, and I wouldn't miss that for this or any other world. Justin, how you doing? That's quite a risk. Just kidding. Life is a risk. Now, since you're the first one here, you were assigned my quality control. How's sound and picture doing? Do I sound okay? Oh, look who's here. Rachel in the 208 is here, says hello. Rachel, so nice to have you with us. Number one dude, I'm so sorry. The whole point of using StreamYard is so I can do this and I don't have to rattle them off like I'm on YouTube. So I'm going to highlight the comments. And number one dude is here, says Thrash Pondo Pawns. Happy Sunday, Thrash. And a happy Sunday to you too, number one dude. So glad to see you. Justin says, great so far, no issues. Fingers crossed, we'll try to keep it that way. And Sister Sarah's here and says, hi, Pawns. I applaud all you folks for coming by early. Just in the outside chance I was broadcasting early. One thing I've noticed on other live chats, people do love to come early and have fellowship in the comments section before the host even arrives. Those of you who were attempting to do that tonight, well, you got me early. So, let's see. Keith E. is here, says, a clown held the door open for me. It was a nice jester. Yes, I've heard that one too. Very, very good. And Sarah says, hi, everyone. And again, hello to you too, Sister Sarah. So great to have you with us. No real topic for tonight, general Q&A. I do have a very fun, at least I think very fun, trivia game planned for tonight, but I'm not going to do that until at least 8 o'clock. I want to make sure many people get here. And my flock goes on to say, why I pay into LOL. Why does anyone pay into anything? LOL. And again, remember, Dave Sundstrom's having a live chat approximately immediately after mine. Oh, look who's here. Johnny Appleseed. I mean, Johnny Orchard. John, how you doing? He says, hey, Pons, great to see you too. John, I'm so embarrassed I didn't get a chance to get back to you. It's been a weird week here on Cape Cod. We started with a blizzard, which actually wasn't our biggest problem. We started with a blizzard. Then a couple days later, we lost power. Oh, and in the interim, my car died. Thought it was a starter. Turned out I needed a new battery. Yada, blah, blah, blah. I got that fixed. Then when the power came on after the power outage in my home, the water heater went offline. The Sentry switch got busted. So I had to, at the last minute, get a heater plumber dude out to fix that. Fortunately, they did. So, John, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get back to you. Great story about Shatner, by the way. Very glad you were able to meet him. My flock says, hit that like and share out and comment after the show, please, and thank you. John says, you look good today. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And again, I'll try to get back to you ASAP. Just been a crazy week. Danny Staten says, greetings from South Carolina. Dan, great show. Sorry I wasn't able to stick around for all of it, but man, you really know your onions when it comes to comic books. And Justin goes on to say, Family Ties had a quadruple negative in the theme song. There ain't no nothing we can't love each other through. Well said, well said. And I'd like to think that that's the same here, although it does get in my way when I'm trying to get back to people. My flock has given us a link. Oh, thank you. To Dan's comic book channel. Very, very kind of you, Sarah. And John says, no worries. We can talk later when things get better. Well, I don't know if we have to wait that. Oh, good. Am I still here? Tell me I'm still here. I blinked out for a second, but I think I'm still here. Melissa's here. It says Melissa Foster is here. It says hi, Thrash, and to all. Rachel says, is Dave's live stream just for channel members? No, I think this one is a general Q&A. I think it's a general Q&A. Lance is here. Says hi, Thresh. Oh, everybody, send Lance positive vibes. Poor dude thinks he has the flu, so we're gonna really hope that he's feeling better. And let's see. I'm gonna try to scroll down to new comments. Here we go. And Danny says, I didn't stick around for all of it. Low battery. My battery died. I hate that. That happened to me the other day, actually. I forgot to charge my laptop, and I'm like biting my nails, hoping it'll make it. A little audio buffering. Let me know if it sticks around. There was a little glitch and there's a little jump. I'd like to think that I'm back. And And Lynn says, Thrash sounds choppy. And Denny, let's see here, says, what does Denny say? Wow, Pawns went slow motion for a minute. Oh, look who's here. Christopher Wilkinson's here. He says, good evening, Bob. Good evening to you too, by the way. And you had a question. I answered your question, right? I don't think I answered your question. Oh, Chance is here, by the way. Great live stream, by the way. Sarah, do me a favor. If you could send a link, or Danny, send a link to Chance as well. That'd be great, too. Rachel says, get better soon. Esmeralda's here. Esmeralda, welcome to the live chat. Says, hello, all. And my flock, Sarah, has given us another link. Oh, look who is here. The entertainment headquarters says, hello, everyone. Kevin Lambert is here. Kevin Lambert of the Mojo, not the movie dojo. I would say Mojo, the Mojo Dojo. The movie dojo is here, by the way. We have an upcoming project we're working on. We'll be going to talk about kaiju movies, particularly them, in the not too distant future. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Dan, thank you for the link. A lot of people asking Lance to get better. Melissa says, I hear you loud and clear and can see the video as well. Like I said, it looked like there was a little beep. There was a little duck's head. It warned me that it was something was waiting to catch on. Hopefully that is, as they say, that. And my vlog says I dropped Chance, so hopefully that's already up there. And Dominic D, welcome to the channel. Dominic, the show tonight. Dominic D says, "Hey Bob, hey everyone, glad you could make it tonight, Mr. D." And Justin says, Thresh, what are your thoughts on Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate? I actually never saw it. It's one of those movies. I never heard a good thing about it. I almost saw it just because so many people said horrible things about it. I felt like I had to, but I'll be honest with you, I never did. 4.5-hour movie. There's a scene where they kill a bunch of horses, and that's kind of animal abuse. Doesn't sit well with me. I must confess, I've never actually seen it. Now, to those people who've seen it and find it has merits, to own their each. But at one point, I believe it was the biggest commercial disappointment in box office history. Rachel says, I am having such a bad time with my internet tonight. More sympathetic I could not be. And Entertainment says, yes, looking forward to working on that soon. As am I. Oh, but we also have another project coming up on, I want to say the 22nd. That Fat Samurai is going to be doing a compare and contrast to the Transporter and the Beekeeper. I'm sure, Kevin, I'm sure you were invited as well, but he wants me on board, which is funny because, as you guys all know, I'm vintage. I'm vintage all the way, and those are two comparatively. Well, the Beekeeper is still in the theaters in some areas, but even the Transporter is a fairly recent film. Dominic D says, I never saw Heaven's Gate either. I saw another classic box office turkey, though, Ishtar. Ishtar, I believe, beat it out for the biggest commercial disappointment of all time. And the funny thing about Ishtar is Ishtar was trying to recreate the lightning in the bottle of those old, like, Bob Hope road movies. and it just couldn't do it. It had a great cast. And even Heaven's Gate. And again, I'm sorry if people out there like Heaven's Gate. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just trying to say why I didn't watch it. But Chris Christopherson was in it, and my mother absolutely adores Chris Christopherson. She had a crush on him when she was younger. And let's see, Lance says, Beekeeper was good and gory fight scenes. Gory fight scenes and gory fight scenes. Like I say, I have to actually watch it this week. Transporter I've seen, but I haven't seen The Beekeeper. I never get to the movies anymore, but I can get it on on one of the streaming services. I've already found it. And Rachel says, Ishtar, that is an oldie. Yeah, 84? 84, 85, I want to say. Something like that. So let's see. We got 16 people watching, and how many likes we got? I can never find where the likes are nowadays. I'm so used to everything being in a certain place. And funny thing is, we're actually still early. It's not even 7:30 yet, and I already have 16 people watching. That's pretty darn good. I'm going to try to keep looking directly. I'm always looking at the monitor, one, because I'm a narcissist, but also I want to make sure my image doesn't freeze. So I keep making myself look at the red dot because then it looks like I'm actually looking at you folks, which is really what I should be, because you guys are the audience. And I have to keep my head up, because if I keep it down, suddenly I go all white eye as opposed to round eye. But anywho, so let's see. Anyone else see The Beekeeper? Any other people have thoughts on it? What movie do you guys think are better, the Beekeeper or the Transporter? I like the Transporter. Oh, and Sarah's giving us another link, and thank you. I like Jason Statham. I think he's great. I never get to the theaters anymore. I kind of got out of the habit with whole COVID. Never got back into it. And again, you guys know me. I'm a vintage movie buff, but I do appreciate the merits of modern cinema. And Kevin says, I'm just going to call you Kevin, if that's okay, Entertainment Headquarters, or just Entertainment. But he says, that samurai guy, fat samurai guy, will be a guest on my channel on the 21st of February. He will be a part of my first ever retro classic movie show segment. If you can drop a link, or if somebody can drop a link to Kevin's that's Entertainment Headquarters, I will be there at your first live show to watch and make silly comments. I recommend other people do as well. And Justin says the thing with Ishtar is that the VHS cover was uninspiring. I remember seeing it in the video store as a kid and saying, yeah, I'm not going to watch that. You know what? You're right. That was at a time when movie rentals were really what was bringing the money in for movies. Oh, John's here. John Collins. Oh my gosh. I want to let the world know that I come back to Bob's channel like the swallows of Capistrano. I love the reference because of his character, and the content is simply the hook of engagement. I'm sure I'm not the only one. John, that was almost prosaic. I want to thank you so much for those huge props. I want to thank you for joining us, and you will always be welcome on my channel. John says, the Transporter transporting bees. It was a bee movie. I'm going to give the game away. I'm going to have to, when I'm doing the Beekeeper, I'm going to have to do the line from the horrid Wicker Man remake. Not the bees. Tab is here. Tab says, never saw Ishtar. It's one of the most infamous box office bombs in history, almost ending the careers of Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty. I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Danny says, my brain hurts. I'm very sorry to hear that. Sounds so tragic. Teb says, hello, Thrash. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you too, by the way. Oh, and yes, Teb, as per your request, tonight's trivia is going to be on early television appearances of major Black actors in the spirit of Black History Month. And Len says, John, it's called The Bee Sporter. Love it. Love it. And Elsmeralda says, "This is my first time to catch a live show." Yes, now that you mentioned, you're right. I've talked to you on other people's live shows, and you've watched some of my videos and made very, very nice comments. But this is your first time on my show. Esmeralda, I'm so glad you could make it. You're more than welcome as a new guest, and hopefully will not be your only appearance. I tend to do this every Sunday at 7:30. Didn't last week in this one. I glitched for a second, didn't I? Let's hope that was as they say. That. Um, John says if they were remaking movies, why not remake of the bad ones like Ishtar? I think they're afraid to remake it because it was so bad. They're afraid it will just bomb again. Ken Wilkinson says good evening to Danny. Oh, look who's here. Stevie's here. Says Sydney Portier. A. Didn't do much TV, I'm afraid. Kevin says, I love the Beekeeper and I like the Transporter. The Beekeeper is fast and does not let up and leaves you wanting more. Can't wait. I might actually watch them as a double feature. I haven't quite decided yet. And Justin says, do the quest. Oh, I'm sorry. Do the guest appearances. This is our quest. Do the guest appearances have to be movie stars or would they go on to be sitcom starts themselves? Not necessarily movie stars. Not necessarily movie stars. Just huge Hollywood celebrities of TV and or movies, but just early appearances. Oh my god, yeah, he was in that. Oh my god, he was on that. Oh my gosh, Mandy's here. Mandy, I haven't seen you in a while. It is so nice having you back. I've been chatting with you on Facebook on posts here and there, but it's so nice to see you. Welcome back. So good to see you. Esmeralda says, I am delighted to be here, Bob. And it's very, very, very nice to have you. And Lance is also saying hi to Mandy. And Rachel says they should remake The Room. I don't think I saw The Room. Is that the one? It's a sci-fi horror movie, correct? If it's the one I'm thinking of. Oh, no. It was that commercial. But now I remember the commercial bomb. Yes, I remember. Sarah says, Esmeralda, this right up your alley. Well, thank you. I appreciate the huge props. And Kevin says, has anyone seen the trailer for The Creature featuring Sting? I haven't. I have not seen that. Melissa Foster says Highlands, and Dominic D says I think Paul Williams wrote a lot of music for Ishtar. Paul Williams actually wrote a ton of music for cinema. He wrote Evergreen for that silly movie with Brooke Shields. But anyway, yes. And Endless Love was the song. He wrote that too. He wrote everything. Tab here says the Tracy Ullman Show was notable for its animated shorts featuring a certain yellow family from Springfield named The Simpsons, which made their debut in the show's third episode. They actually wanted Matt Groening's Life in Hell with the silly rabbits, but either he didn't want to or was contractually obligated to not use them. So he made it was something loosely based on his own old family, and he ended up using that instead. That's why the boy's name is Bartholomew, Bart instead of Matt. Originally his name was Matt. And my flock says, okay, I've got to finish up with Chance. Love you all. Oh, Chance was actually still doing his show and popped in here to see mine. Please, Sarah, tell him thank you. Enjoy the rest of your show. You guys have a great night. And Mandy says, thank you, everyone, for the kind words. So glad. Well, you deserve every single one of them. Oh, and Mandy goes on to say Blue Lagoon. I don't think there was any music by Paul Williams in that, but I certainly saw that one when I was a kid, although I probably shouldn't have. Rachel says Paul Williams is so great. He wrote for Emmett Otter 2. That's right, he did. And thank you, Justin, for the win, Endless Love. But he also wrote the song Evergreen for a different movie, which I'm getting that wires crossed, feeling my head. Of course, my favorite Paul Williams trivia question is that he was actually in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. He played an orangutan. Um, Bite my tongue. He was in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, not Conquest. Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Second favorite trivia question. He of course did an episode of The Odd Couple. He played Paul Williams, but Felix's daughter had a crush on him and broke curfew to go to a concert. He didn't want her. Felix didn't want her to go because she was ill. And Kevin says, check it out, everyone. Yes, yes, please do. And Esmeralda says to Teb, Tracy Ullman is so funny. It certainly was. And Les Jim says, endless love Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. Yeah, they sang it, but Paul Williams wrote it. And Steve, and again, Steve, welcome to the channel. I think I glitched a little bit when I was trying to say welcome to the show tonight, but so glad to have you here. Sad ending, and I just glitched again. But Paul Williams says Paul Williams was in The Loved One. Thank you. And look who is here. I think I glitched. Well, fingers crossed. Andy Spouts is here. Says Evergreen is from us. Thank you. A Star is Born. That's the Barbara Streisand installment, not the one with James Mason. Or there's a third one too. Well, and then there's the modern remake, which is the rockabilly version. But yeah, The Star is Born with Babs. And for those of you keeping track at home, Chris Christopherson, as you remember, we were talking about him with Heaven's Gate. Yeah, I knew Chris Christopherson's catalog. Mama Thrash had a crush on him. And let's see, Tab says, once The Simpsons was spun off into their own still running series, it completely overshadowed and outlasted the Tracy Ullman Show. Yes, but ironically, how many of the cast members of the Tracy Ullman Show are still working on The Simpsons? Crazy. And let's just see. And thank you for Evergreen. That was killing me. Yes, Star is Born. Love soft. Oh, that's a different song. But anyway, what was the song from A Star is Born that my mother used to play all the time? There was one. Oh yeah, the black widow is sitting in the middle of its web. And I don't want to keep going; I'll get shut down. But I had that song memorized when I was like 9. And Len says Paul Williams was in Smokey and the Bandit. Very good. And Minnie says Thrash, how are you able to retain all this information? I have no idea. In fact, it's actually really funny. Sometimes I don't. The other day, my boss asked me the name of a band, and I just blurted out Fleetwood Mac. He's like, "Who does this song, Bob?" And I go, "Fleetwood Mac," and he goes, "It's not Fleetwood Mac. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I should have known better, but just the way my mind works, the way I describe it to people is, picture an auditorium with like 300 people. And someone comes out into the auditorium, they come up to the podium, and they ask a question. And all 300 people shout out a different name at the same time. And when they look at all, I just go, beep, and I pick out the right answer. Melissa Foster says, wasn't Paul Williams on Match Game? Everyone was on Match Game. So we can't rule it out. Let's say, I'm going to say yes. He was on The Muppet Show, too. He was on The Muppet Show as well. Rachel says, who saw Phantom of the Paradise with Paul Williams? Love that movie. Makes a great feature with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. They don't have similar themes, but they're just both so out there. Like, Danny says, I can't stand Paul Williams. That jerk irks me. Ouch! Danny, you're what, 6'11"? To you, everyone is a dwarf. And let's see, Justin says, look who it jumped, and I'm glad it did, because it's From Here to Paternity Podcast. Says, hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm a bit late. Okay, just for clarification, because this is a broad envelope, am I talking to Scott or Damien? Or even Tug this time? All 3 of you are more than welcome. But before I start calling you by the wrong name, and now Justin says, he went vamoose. Check out All in the Family episode, Everyone Tells the Truth, where Ron Glass plays 3 different characters in Archie's flashback. Great stuff. I have one of these like Mylar cards with the uh, calendar on it. It keeps sticking to my elbow. It's driving me sugar. Oh, but yes, that's the one that is loosely based on the Japanese movie Rashomon, where each of the 3 people who give their testimony to how the story plays out is completely different. And that's actually a great episode. And I guess they had a blast making it. Ron Glass is amazing. Ron Glass actually did 2 different episodes of Good Times. He plays the principal in one, and he plays a shyster door-to-door salesman in another. But yeah, that episode is great. Thank you, Justin. And Christopher says, I was asking you about the movie Men of Honor, Bob. My dad was in the Glass 2 years before the guy they made the movie about. Oh, your dad was a frogman? Yeah, and yes, that was it. That was it. Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr. And I did see Men of Honor back when I was in the video store. So thank you. I did answer your question. I thought I did, but it's been kind of a busy day today. So I'm never sure what I've actually done. Oh, and look who's here. Miss Emily Miller says, hey, y'all. Hey to you too, Miss Em. It's always nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And Esmeralda says, Denny's dating. Yeah, not my fave either. Different strokes for different folks, you know. I more than understand. My grandmother hated him for some reason, and I have no idea why. My grandmother just hated people randomly. I don't know. She always loved me, but that doesn't say much. But more than understand. And Eddie Spout says, hey there, Lance. And Lance also says hi to Emily, as does Mr. Wilkinson. And Rachel says Tracy is super talented. That's very nice of you to say to Tracy. Thank you. And let's just see. Kevin here says, who is excited for Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire? How could one not be? How could one not? Pardon me, not be. And Pablo says it's actually Scott on this occasion. I thought it was you, but I didn't want to be rude to the rest of your consortium. Oh, and I haven't talked to Uncle Joe in forever. Tell Uncle Joe Thrash said hi. And Steve says, did Paul Williams write music or lyrics? I think he wrote both in some cases, but at the very least, he wrote the music. They might bring a song to him, and he would compose the music and make the arrangement. But I think in some cases, he wrote the entire song. And he says to Rachel, sadly, yes, I have seen Phantom of the Paradise. You didn't like Phantom of the Paradise? It's one of my favorite cult films. The Juicy Fruits? Come on, man. And but anyway, you know, it's a terrible movie, but it's a cult film. I have a weakness for cult films. It's just me. And WT says Paul Williams was on Hollywood Squares a lot. Also, he was. In fact, now that you mention it, there's one where he actually sings the song from Endless Love. Love, soft as an easy chair. Love, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get myself shut down if I keep singing. And with my voice, it'd be a fitting punishment. Let's see. Rachel says, I am like that too. I have so much trivia in my head. It's a burden, isn't it? It's a burden. Yes, it is. And Lance wants to know, yes, Emily, how are you, Emily? Yes, please. And a lot of people saying hello to Emily. And Mindy says, I have no ability to recall. I used to be like that way with tests in high school. I would study all night, and I would be flawlessly prepared to the test. And it's like that song by the Bare Naked Ladies. I walk into my final, and my knowledge is gone. And yes, there were times when I watched Wrath of Khan rather than study. But I would flawlessly prepare for a test. I'd walk in, I'd sit down, and bing! What is this Civil War you speak of? I have never heard of the Civil War. Is this a war where people were nice to each other? It really wasn't. You tell him, Danny. Speaking of Danny has given us another link. And thank you for that. And Emily says, getting slowly better. Lance, that's right. You were feeling poorly. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. And Mandy says, wow, that's just great, Thrash. Not sure which one you're in response to, but thank you. And Esmeralda says, I love the Rocky Horror. Me too. I probably saw it 2 dozen times when I was a kid. And they used to show it on Cape Cod all the time. Sean Innocence here says, hello, all. Sean, so glad you could make it. Very, very glad you could make it. Teb says the Tracy Ullman Show aired its last episode in May of 1990, I think after 4 seasons. By then, its replacement in living color took the Fox network by storm due to its politically incorrect humor. I loved In Living Color. I couldn't believe they canceled it. And Danny says, LOL, 6-4. Yeah, that was I was spitballing. I couldn't remember how many installments of the top 10 list I did. So I did 25 or 6-4. And trivia question, what does 25 or 6-4 make itself a reference to? Da, 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 da. I've given this answer before, folks, but I'm going to give it again. When Chicago, they were having a late night recording session, and I'm sure they were doing plenty of Colombian marching powder, but they were like just toast. It was very, very late. One of them, they were taking a 5, and one of them says, what time is it anyway? And the other one, he looks at the clock, and he's looking at it. He's like, what he wanted to say was, it was like 3:35, but he couldn't think himself through. And he goes, it's 25 or 6-4, 25 or 26 minutes till 4 o'clock. And Bob Lim was like, what do you mean 25 or 6-4? And they started laughing like school children. They couldn't, and bleeding, they were laughing so hard. So they worked that into the chorus. And I'm going to skip through. Oh, Emily says, I'm not sick, Lance. Still producing. Still processing the loss of my kitty. Good. I thought you were. I remember the loss of the kitty, and I thought that was very, very sad. But I thought you had gotten ill. In addition, I'm glad I was mistaken. And he says, "Gosh, Thrash, it must be awful having all that useless data in your head." Do I detect a note of sarcasm? This is the man who has the Encyclopedia Britannica in their head. But your information isn't useless. And Dominic D says, great, Em, how are you? And Esmeralda says to Emily, I am so sorry to hear that. I love cats. And Rachel says, Meshuggah, I haven't heard that word in a while, LOL. Sorry, Bubba. And Sean says, okay, I guess. Doesn't sound particularly convincing, Sean. Whatever is holding you back, my man, I hope it works out. It's been a weird 2024. Everyone was hoping 2024 would be the year. It seemed to be a false start. The problems range from not as good as we were hoping for to kind of a pain in the ass. But either way, whatever is holding you back, man, I hope it works out. And I'll be sending you positive vibes. And Mandy says, honestly, I hear to listen to Thrash thoughts on many things. Well, I'll give you my thoughts on many things. Sean says, lots on my mind. More sympathetic I could not be. I was telling Justin, this is crazy. Well, now, Sean, you're a Rhode Islander, right? You must have gotten hit by the same storm I got. We had this nasty, nasty blizzard beginning of the week. Oh, and then my car needed a new battery. And then, which I got. I thought it was a starter. Fortunately, it was just the battery, but I got the car fixed. Then on an unrelated issue, there was a transformer or something blew in my area. Long story short, we had a blackout, and then when the power finally came back on, the Sentry switch, I think it's called, on my water heater went kablooey. So at 5 a.m, we realized we had no hot water. It made for a really long day. Fortunately, thank goodness, I was able to get a water heater person to my house that morning, and he fixed it. But yeah, been one headache after another. Scott says, initially when I heard y'all say Paul Williams, I heard Paul Walker and was completely confused. LOL. hell. It's all about family, I guess. I was going to say, yeah, that would completely and totally change the narrative. Lance says, I'm sorry, losing a pet is hard. R.I.P. little kitty. In 1979, the day before I started sixth grade, my pet basset hound, Roger, was hit and killed by a car. That was 45 years ago. Some days it still bothers me. So again, more sympathetic I could not be, my lady. Emily says, thank you, Esmeralda. He was almost 17. Wowzers. It's pretty good for a cat. I understand. And Christopher says, I am sorry about your cat, Emily. And Sean also sorry about your kitty, Emily. And Mandy says, don't forget I am a flat earther too. As in, you think the earth is flat? I can't prove you wrong. I haven't gone all the way around it. And Scott says, Emily, this is Scott Das Gimp. A lot of people saying hello to one another, particularly Emily. John says, Thrash, I must pay homage to the writing gods. I will keep you in the background as I write. More than understand. If any of my pearls of wisdom inspire you to write a line in your narrative, please, you already have my permission to borrow same. And Mindy says, have you any scary lighthouse? On Cape Cod? They weren't scary lighthouses. This is the creepy thing. Pirates, what they would do is they would take very strong this is back in the 1800s. They would take very, very strong lanterns and put them on poles. And they would hold them up by reefs. And what would happen is the boat would think that it was a pilot light and it leaded them into a channel. And they would hit straight into it. And they would crank into the reef. And then the pirates would go out and rob them. So, as far as scary, there's a lot of haunted things on Cape Cod. Don't know of any scary lighthouses on Cape Cod, but there's a lot of scary things. A lot of great white sharks, too, which I don't recommend for swimming. And John says, yes, Thrash, I will email you the plot later. Excellent, excellent. And she reiterates, scary lighthouse. Yes, no, we don't have, at least not to my knowledge. We have the Scargo Tower. Braidwooden says, first time I saw Tracy Ullman and Phil Hartman was in Jumpin' Jack Flash. Oh, okay, I'll buy that. And Lance Griffin says, Scott, I watched Argyle last night. Not too bad. Oh, yeah, I've heard a few. Oh, look who's here. I've heard a few things about that. Brogu's here says, hello, everyone, and hello to Thrash. Brogu's so glad you could make it. And Esmeralda says, Bare Naked Ladies, great music. Wow, I am back a little, aren't I? And just says Cadillac Civil War. Or you could have done Dave Seville, where it was Alvin against Theodore, and Simon kind of fought on both sides. Wow, how many of you got that one? And let's just see. Teb says, in Phantom of the Paradise, the Juicy Fruits changed their sound and image from 50s Greasers doo-wop to 60s Beach Boys-esque California surf rock. Yes, and then they went on to become sort of like Black Sabbath, hardcore 70s rock. That was actually meant, that was the shtick was bands reinventing themselves, which actually happened. I mean, a lot of bands like the Stylistics were doo-wop singers in the 50s, but ended up becoming disco sound in the 70s. John Collins says, Bob, They Live has the best fight scene of all time. Bob, instead of requesting you give me the movies with awesome fight scenes, can you recommend YouTube videos with the best movie fight scenes? I could do some digging. I don't have anything off the top of my head, but yes, that fight scene with Roddy Piper and Keith David was at one time the longest fight scene in cinema history, by according to Guinness, and also one of the best. They were both phenomenal in that. And Emily says 83 Coupe de Ville. And Sean says, about 6 minutes behind in the comments, Thrash. Wowzers. Okay, I'm going to try to catch up. I'm going to have to skip through a few of them. Apologies, please. Mandy says, Thrash, all you need to know is I really appreciate your show. Mandy, that is more than enough. Everything you say and do, I think, is amazing. And I'm so glad you're here and have the positive vibes. And please keep coming back. And Esmeralda says, "In Living Color was great." It certainly was. And Dominic D says, the David Civil War against the Chipmunks. Yeah, great minds think alike. And John says, cocainium. I love it, a missing element. And Mandy says, you can be what you want to be in Living Color. You certainly can. And let's just see. Melissa says, never watched Phantom of the Paradise, but I did watch Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. I saw part of that. My mother made me go to bed before it was over. Said you can watch the rest next time it's on. Who knew? And Denny says, ooh, fun stories. And Indy says, late night jams. And John says, you mean they ate hippie lettuce? You could try to eat it. You get a better response. You guys know the sitch. And Keith says, that was a great estimate. Sean, 6 minutes. Wow, I hope I'm catching up. Oh, look who's here. Tracy is here. Says, hi, guys. Tracy Bubble is so glad you were here. It's so funny. Lance is like, I was wondering where you were. Everybody wish Tracy luck. I go into my new office tomorrow, and we really, really hope the new job works out for you. Melissa Foster says, hey, Emily, and sorry for the loss of your fur baby. That's actually very, very, very sad. And Sean says to Keith, hey, buddy, I just marked the time of my initial comment. Wow, so I'm sure you're right. And he says to Melissa Foster, now we're talking. Anthony Zarbi is my jam. And let's just see what else we got on here. Scott says to Emily, it took me 4 or 5 years to grieve for the loss of my boys' dogs. I have 2 cats, and I imagine it will take just as long when I lose them. I'm certain of it. And I'm just skipping down. John says, Bob, they live has. Oh, I read that one. There we go. And Tracy says, Bob, is your power out now? No, it's back on. It actually came back on a couple of days ago. Thank goodness. Gravy. And Keith says, I watched Starman last night and forgot how good it was. It really is an amazing movie. It's funny because it doesn't get a lot of love. I think a lot of people forgot about it, but it's a really good movie. And Emily says, Sean, we haven't seen snow here in my part of North Carolina over 2 years. We got Cape Cod. Cape Cod got 12 inches of snow, and it got so cold, most of it hasn't even thawed yet. Indy says, Thrash, if you're reading this, it's probably about time for trivia, by the way. What's the topic? Yes, it's about a minute away, and it's early appearances of black celebrity actors, big ones. And Sean says, we had, uncanny with the time, by the way, we had a Beagle in the 70s, Otto. He chased after my sister in the car into traffic. Very unsettling. Oh, I'm very, very sorry. Keithy says, hello, Lance and everybody. I'm kind of lurking tonight. It's hard for me to keep up with the chat. Me too. I'm just going to scroll down. Just see what way behind. Oh my God, Ian is retro serious here. I heard you're very, very sick, Ian. Please, I hope you're feeling better. Everybody, positive vibes to Mr. Ian. He's sick. But of course, you probably already know that by now because I'm so far behind. Yes. Just super sick. Sore throat, feeling weak. Well, we hope you feel better. Oh, and Wajamin is here. He says, hello, everyone. I finally made it. It's okay. I'm so far behind. You could have been here for an hour. And Darrell Johnson is here. He says, "Hey Keith, other brother Daryl, so glad you could make it. Great to see you." And Cindy D is here. Says, "Hello everyone. Sorry I'm late. On the phone with my sister. It's quite a wait. I'm so far behind with the comments. Again, it's giving me a chance to catch up. Dana's giving us a link. Thank you so much. And good to see you, Ian. It's so great to have you back. And by God, I think I've caught up. So you know what? If I missed anyone's comments, please forgive me. I'm just going to take a swig of this because I'm getting parched. And I'm going to start the trivia. And tonight's trivia is going to be on major Hollywood actors who had early roles on like TV and stuff that people may or may not, or probably for this channel, you probably all remember it, by the way. Oh, and of course, in the spirit of Black History Month, these are Black actors and the early roles they had on, again, mostly early TV shows. And as always, I'm going to start in no particular order. This Hollywood megastar got his start playing a doctor on St. Elsewhere. Was it A, Denzel Washington, B, Samuel L. Jackson, C, Yaphet Kotto, or D, Wesley Snipes? And, oh, yes, Mrs. Thrash wants to play, and she gets the answer correctly. And yes, and I don't know if she's going to keep playing, but anyway, I shall repeat the question. This Hollywood megastar got his start playing a doctor on St. Elsewhere. Was it A, Denzel Washington, B, Samuel L. Jackson, C, Yaphet Kotto, or D, Wesley Snipes? Oh, everyone's saying hi to Mrs. Thrash. She's like, "Hi." Poor thing, messed up her back yesterday. Having trouble moving around today. Might crash early, but she had to get the Denzel question. Didn't know her at the time, but we both like. Oh, you guys all knew this one. St. Elsewhere. Yes, it was Wesley Snipes, and I'm losing my headphones. So yes, the correct answer for number 1 was A. Moving on to number 9. This multi-generational star found early success on the Electric Company. Was it A, Louis Gossett Jr., B, Danny Glover, C, Richard Pryor, or D, Morgan Freeman? Oh, and India, that's what it is coming. I remember him in Carbon Copy with George Segal many years before that. And hi, Mrs. Thrash. I remember Carbon Copy too. I think I saw it on HBO when I was 12. Great movie. Wow, a lot of people having love for Mrs. Thrash, as do I. But let me repeat the question, even though some of you are already answering. This multi-generation star found early success on the Electric Company. Was it A, Louis Gossett Jr., B, Danny Glover, C, Richard Pryor, or D, Morgan Freeman? And I'll give you another minute. Justin says, Rita Moreno. She was in the company too, but she wasn't black. Loved her in West Side Story, the good one. And yeah, Rachel has the most creative answer. Easy Reader, that's my name. Yes, the correct answer, of course, is Denzel Washington. I believe he was also in Sweet Charity, but I can't find listening to the credits. But in the song with Sammy Davis Jr., I could swear he's in that. Oh, Lance says, "Bye, guys. Feeling bad all over. Going to rest now." Lance, get some rest, guy. I'm so sorry, not feeling well. Hopefully you feel better. And just says, "Oh, I forgot the questions were black actors." Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I not mention that? Yes. So but you'll get that from the fact that all the selections are black. Moving on to number 8. Though they had been working for years, this major star had a breakthrough role on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Was it Whoopi Goldberg, Arsenio Hall, Lawrence Fishburne, or Theodore Wilson? And I shall repeat. Though they had been working for years, this major star had a breakthrough role on Pee Wee's Playhouse. Was it A, Whoopi Goldberg, C, Arsenio Hall, B, Arsenio Hall, I'm sorry, B, Arsenio Hall, C, Lawrence Fishburne, or D, Theodore Wilson? And you guys are eating it up tonight, by the way. You guys are doing great. More and more people are saying that it's become like a joke how difficult my trivia is. So I really tried to make this one as palatable as possible. And the fact that you guys are doing very, very well, I think is as much a pat on the back as just something I can be happy for you guys for. But anyway, it seemed like, yeah, most of you got it. And the correct answer is C. And yes, Cowboy Curtis? I knew he was a cowboy, but Cowboy Curtis is all I can think at this time. But anyway, moving on to number 7. This star of TV, film, and theater gave us a memorable performance on an installment of Night Gallery. Was it A, Ozzie Davis, B, James Earl Jones, C, Ivan Dixon, or D, Paul Winfrey? Kelly Curtis, I was correct. Excellent. I shall repeat. This star of TV, film, and theater gave us a memorable performance on an installment of Night Gallery. Was it A, Ozzie Davis, B, James Earl Jones, C, Ivan Dixon, or D, Paul Winfrey? He says, the guy who replaced Ivan Dixon. Scott says, Paul Walker. You know what? If anyone who gives a creative answer, give yourself a half a point. I love it. I love creative answers. I had a professor in college who would give partial credit. If you didn't know the answer and you made up a good one, he would give you half credit. But well, a lot of people are saying Paul Winfrey, and I can certainly see that. But in reality, it was Ozzie Davis. It's a really amazing episode. It actually made it into the feature film. It's I can't think of the name of it, but it also had Roddy McDowell, and it's about a crooked young man who arranges his uncle to have a stroke so he can inherit the fortune. And then Ozzie Davis goes on a quest of revenge. He played the gentleman's manservant and comes up with a plan to get revenge. But anyway, the correct answer is Ozzie Davis. And we'll move on to question 6. This famous actor had early success playing a gang member on Hill Street Blues. Andy Spout says, I think he was in the pilot. Yeah, the made-for-TV movie pilot. Yes. Yes, he was. But that actually made it into an actual episode. But it wasn't that sort of made-for-TV thing. The elections. A, Eddie Murphy. B, Gooding Jr. C, Giancarlo Espinosa. Or D, Miguel A. Nunez. I repeat, this actor had early a gang member on Hill Street Blues. A, Eddie Murphy. B, Goodman Jr. C, Giancarlo Espinosa. Or D, Miguel A. Nunez Jr. Oh, Kevin Scott 76 is here. He says, hey, Thrash, just got out of rehearsal for... Why am I not? That's why. Because I can't do the post. Hey, Thrash, just got out of rehearsal for Cinderella the Musical. Well, I'm glad you could make it. That is excellent. You're just in time for the second half of trivia. Keith, he says, Terrence Black. Cindy D says he was in Sounder. And he's saying that to Sean Innes with Cicely Dyson. And Sean's like, you're lagging, Thrash. Daryl Johnson is like, Bob is going to lock up. No, I can't lock up now. No. Actually, I think I'm cut up. Anyway, the correct answer was B, Cuba Gooding Jr. And now let's have some scores. Oh, Dominic D says I couldn't hear it either. All right, I'm going to repeat the question, even though I already gave away the answer. This famous actor had early success playing a gang member on Hill Street Blues. Was it A, Eddie Murphy, B, Cuba Gooding Jr., C, Giancarlo Espinosa? That's Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad, in case people wonder what that I'm talking about. And or D, Miguel A. Nunes Jr. We'll do the honor system. If you would have gotten that, give yourself credit. Justin. The choices were. Oh, here we go. Oh, you guys are jumping again. I'm like way behind. Probably with all the scores. Justin says the choices were love it. Tracy was 3 of 4. Wajimine was 4 of 5. Tracy was 3 for 5. Wajimine is 4 for 5. Teb is 3 of 5. Melissa is 4 of 5. Rachel is 4 of 5. Sean is 3 of 5. Justin is 4 of 5. Keithy got half of 1 for a creative answer. Cindy is 4 for 5. Sean's chat is lagging too. I might be at the end of my tether, but we only have half of the contest to go. Dominic D is 4 of 5. Indy Spouts is 4 for 4. The last one was garbled beyond recognition, and I don't accept charity. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, gang. Daryl Jones says, I got 2 or 3. I've been texting my niece. Scott is 3 for 5. Number 1 dude got 4 of them. What was the answer to the last one? Cuba Gooding Jr. That would have been B. He played a gang member on Hill Street Blues. And Kevin says, hey, Thrash, can you sing a song so I can get this music out of my head? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. No, I can't sing. Danny says 6 of 5. I added 1. Why not? Emily says, I missed number 9. I know that for sure. So she's going to give herself 4 for 5, and I'll take it. Excellent. Now we'll get, the getting is good, or less bad. And let's just see here. Encore, or at least phase 2. Number 5. Before his breakthrough role on Platoon, he played Keith the Handyman on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Was it A, Keith David, B, Tony Todd, C, Forrest Whitaker, or D, Gregory Hines? I shall repeat. Before his breakthrough role on Platoon, he played Keith the Handyman on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Was it A, Keith David, B, Tony Todd, C, Forrest Whitaker, or D, Gregory Hines? And Mike Silva is here. Mike, I'm so glad you could make it to the party. And Mike Silva says, now with the Wagner Power Painter, you can paint the whole forest in a day. Let's see. I think I know whose woods these are. No, he's looking for Nolan Ryan so he can clock his fastball. I guarantee you, folks, that was from MST 3K. Oh, Rachel says, I miss Mr. R. Yes. Yes, I miss him too. That's very sad. Did you see the Tom Hanks film? Anyway, the correct answer is actually Keith David. Keith David played Keith the handyman on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which I must confess I didn't know, but I love Keith David. He in Platoon he reminded me of the guy who lived across the street from me. I was absolutely in love with. I thought he was the coolest guy in the world. Number 4, this sci-fi icon has made appearances on The Jeffersons, Good Times, and What's Happening. Was it A. Brock Peters, B. Lincoln Kilpatrick, C. Percy Rodriguez, or D. William Marshall? And make sure you can you guys hear me and stuff? Okay. Shona says Keith David, I would guess, although Tony Todd and Whitaker were also in Platoon. Yeah, that was a tricky one. I did that deliberately. And of course, Gregory Hines, well, he was also in a Vietnam movie, but it was why did I bring that up? Because I can't remember the movie now. It was with William Dafoe. Well, take my word, he was in a Vietnam movie. But yes, Keith David. Oh, and I shall repeat the question that I just asked. This sci-fi icon has made appearances on The Jeffersons, Good Times, and What's Happening. Was it A. Brock Peters, B. Lincoln Kilpatrick, C. Percy Rodriguez, or D. William Marshall? And I'm sorry, guys, that one was a toughie because all 4 of those are sci-fi perennials, but only one of them was on all 3 of those shows, and it was Percy Rodriguez, who's sadly probably best known for doing the voice narration of the trailer for the movie Jaws. Yeah, that was him. Oh, the Lochnar. He did the Lochnar in Heavy Metal. And for years, he wasn't credited for that because they wanted the Lochnar to have this sort of mystical quality. So they weren't telling anybody who actually did the voice. Like the actor who played the Doris on Lost Saucer. I'm sorry, my digression had a digression. Number 3. This actor, dancer, singer, TV producer, director, and former member of the Presidential Committee on Arts and Humanities, wow, got her start playing JJ's fiancée on the Good Times two-parter, JJ's Fiancé. Your selections are A. Angela Bassett, B. Felicia Rashad, C. Grace Jones, or D. Deborah Allen. And I shall repeat. This actor, dancer, singer, TV producer, director, and former member of the Presidential Committee on Arts and Humanities got her start playing JJ's Fiancé on the Good Times two-parter, JJ's Fiancé. So he says, these are hard, LOL. Oh, and Dominic D. I'm falling behind here. Dominic D says, I think Percy Rodriguez was in The World's Greatest Athlete, too. That sounds right. That sounds very right. And Justin says, tonight's trivia is like Jeopardy on Ozempic. I'll take your word for it. But everyone seems to have gotten this one. Oh, I knocked my papers over. I got papers. I have papers on my desk. Anyway, D. Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen played JJ's fiancée in a very, very sad episode. She was a junkie. And I won't tell how the episode ends. I don't have a spoiler, but it was very sad because they were going to run off and get married, and things just kind of went downhill from there. It was an anti-drug episode. And Tracy says, I am starting to lose it because of my tough trivia or anxiety of your new job. Either way, I hope you don't lose it. And Sean says to Justin, I'm on Zepic. Maybe it's me you are smelling, LOL. And Scott says, I went with the only one I didn't know, LOL. Sometimes that works. Sometimes, but the correct answer, of course, is Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen. Did I say that already? I'm having so much fun in the comments that I think I missed it. Indy Spout says, I'm at least I'm at least 30 to 45 seconds behind here. Hmm. Maybe I'm ahead. Oh, Tracy says, both. Well, I know you'll do just fine in your job tomorrow, but I wish I could do better with my trivia. But you, Tracy, bubble up, darling. You're gonna do wonderful tomorrow, and we're all sending you positive vibes. And, and, and oh, that's that, that's where it's from. Thank. I think I'm. Emily says, "Oh, oh, oh, Ozempic. I know." So I think I'm back. City D says you're skipping Thrash. Yeah, it zoned out on me. I got a little box saying, not responding. Please wait. Melissa Foster says Thrash is frozen up. And he says, yep, 52 seconds behind by timing the frozen comments with the actual freezing. Um, Thank you, Denny. I haven't gotten around to actually mention it yet. Yeah, Wajimeen. Again, Wajimeen, thank you for joining us tonight. And Danny, thank you for putting up the link for him. But slow motion time. There you are. Thank you, Wajimeen. Yeah, I blinked out for a minute, and I had the little box that says "Please wait," and I hopefully you guys all waited as well. And I'm just going to give it a second for everyone and everything to catch up. Keithy says sometimes the more comments you enter, the further you can get behind. Ain't that the truth? Oh, look who's here. Beaky in the air says, hey, buddy. Barry, good to see you, by the way, and happy anniversary. Or Valentine's Day. Happy when he was posting all kinds of things for him and his lovely wife, and congratulations. And so glad to see you here. Thank you very much. And Cindy says, we wait and we wait, and your patience has paid off. So what I am going to do is I'm going to race through the last couple of questions. You guys all got Deborah Allen, right? If you got Deborah Allen, then we're all ready to go. So I'm going to move on to question 2 because I think I might be on my last legs. So I want to finish up this trivia while we still got the time. This sci-fi horror perennial had roles in early episodes of Good Times and What's Happening. Was it A, Pam Grier, B, Rosalind Cash, C, Vanetta McGee, or D, Nichelle Nichols? And I shall repeat. This sci-fi horror perennial had roles in early episodes of Good Times and What's Happening. Is it A, Pam Grier, B, Rosalind Cash, C, Vanetta McGee, or D, Nicole Nichols? Urkel. Keith. Very funny. Was that me? I can't. I can't. My mind is giving out. Didn't have far to go either. A lot of people guessing D. That was a false flag if I ever put one up. How can you not think O'Hara perennial sci-fi? But yes, Cindy, you got it. And actually many others did too. Rosalind Cash, who's probably best known for her role in the Omega Man. Yes. B. She was the one I was in regards to. Dominic D says these questions are getting more difficult. I always start with easy ones and then they get harder. That's my shtick. But anyway, number one question. Oh, and I have a couple of bonuses too. I have bonus questions. But for right now, the number one question is Carl Weathers had a role in this African American sitcom. Was it A, What's Happening, B, The Jeffersons, C, Sanford and Son, or D, Good Times? And I shall repeat. Carl Weathers had a role in this African American sitcom. Was it A, What's Happening, B, The Jeffersons, C, Sanford and Son, or D, Good Times? Oh, Melissa, I'm so sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing due to a loud furnace. I'm so sorry. Um, ooh, a lot of people saying Sanford and Son. Indy says, looks like the internet gods have scorned me tonight, Thresh. Take it easy, Thresh. Indy, I more than understand. So been there. Sorry things didn't work out for you, but I'm very, very, very glad you stuck it out for as long as you could. And Cindy, good times I meant, and good times you are correct. He plays the jealous husband in the episode called The Nude. That's an episode where JJ he's contracted to paint a portrait of this woman. She's making a gift to her husband. And it's presumed that he's painting her in the nude when in fact she is not. But anyway, Carl Weathers plays the jealous husband. So let's get some scores, and then I shall give you the bonuses. He played her jealous boyfriend. I'm sorry, I thought it was husband. But significant other. Braidwood in. Justin says 5 of 7 didn't hear. 3 of the. I'm sorry. Cindy D says R.I.P. Carl. Ken Wilkinson says I got none right. Hey, you'll do better next time, I promise. Sean got 6 of 10. Commendable. Rachel got 9 of 10. Excellent. Cindy D said 7 for 10. Emily Miller says 5 of 10, maybe I think. Wajimine got 6 of 10. Dominic D got 6 of 10. Teb got 7 of 10. And I'll wait for some more scores, but at least I'm caught up, hey gang. And Melissa got 6 of 10. And Tracy got 3 of 10. Oh, and you lived in Chicago. You should have gotten more on a Chicago show, Tracy. I'm teasing you. I'm sorry. By the way, you guys know that anytime I say something in good fun, I'm always kidding here. This is a judgment-free zone. There's no judgment. Well, you can judge me. I don't mind people judging at me, but I won't judge towards anyone. So, again, all in fun of good. Oh, and Danny's good. Thank you, Danny, for Tracy's channel. It's all good. Thank you. And let's see if we know the scores. Okay. I have 2 bonuses, and I'm going to read these in. Oh. He says, hit that report button. And then we'll do this Mike Judge. And Emily Miller says, that's fine. I'll judge everybody enough for the both of us. And Danny says, oh, another link to BK on the Earth. Thank you so much. Esmeralda's back. Esmeralda, thank you. Great to see you again. And Shauna says, to Tracy, did you live in the North Shore town? I am assuming that's part of Chicago. Daddy was a cop on the east side of Chicago. Oh, and by the way, again, these bonuses, I'm going to read them in tandem, which means you can put your answers up, but I'm going to give the answers simultaneously. Any Saturday Night Live fans here, by the way? Anyone watch recent Saturday Night Lives? Anyone see the Christmas episode? They did a Christmas episode, and of course, as you guys know, Michael Che and Colin Jost read write jokes for each other. The other one has to read, and of course, the goal is to embarrass the heck out of them. Well, this one had a special wrinkle. They found from season 3 on SNL this longtime poet, author. I believe she was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but I'm not 100% on that. But activist, amazing woman. They brought her out and sat her next to Colin Jost while he was reading these particularly offensive jokes. And I did some research on Hattie Davis. You'll forgive me, Dr. Hattie Davis is the woman in question here. And she was from season 3 on SNL. I did some digging because I want to see how much we all know about Dr. Hattie Davis. Oh, and Sean goes on to say, I just want to read the thing for Sean if I'm still getting. Oh, do my messages lock up again? Oh, damn you. Well, I guess I can't bring up messages. But anyway, I will read. Oh, actually, there it was. Sean says, LOL, my best friend lived there. PR, whatever town they shot Risky Business in. And another friend actually appears in Risky Business. That is cool squared. That is very cool. Cindy says, no, I am an original, not ready for prime time SNL player. I'll buy that. But anyway, here are the two questions. So the first one was, now remember she was in season 3. Who hosted the season 3 episode in which Miss Davis appeared in? Was it A, Ray Charles, B, Steve Martin, C, Charles Grodin, or D, O.J. Simpson? And I shall repeat. Who hosted the season 3 episode Miss Davis appeared in? Was it A, Ray Charles, B, Steve Martin, C, Charles Grodin, or D, O.J. Simpson? My Flex says, okay, Pons, you're on my TV. You're so funny. Oh, thank you. And Scott says, shoot, sorry, I was ordering pizza for the kids. I got 5 of 10. Commendable. Oh, and Sean goes on to say, when Joel is dreaming that he is late for a test, this is a shot in a classroom, and this one girl turns around to look at him. That's her. Oh, excellent. I still have that dream where I'm late for a test. Oh, John P. Adventures is here. Says Thrash. John P. Hey, either Sarah or Dan, if you could drop a link. John P. Adventures puts out some great stuff on his channel. I think you guys might appreciate that as well. Oh, and look who's here. Oh, David. David is also here. David, if you came in during the trivia, for any of you guys who came in during the trivia game, if I missed you, I'm very, very sorry. I was busy doing the trivia, and of course, I kept glitching while I was going. So, Dave, so great to see you. And Brian from Music Movies is More here says, hey, Thrash, great to see you too. If one of you guys could drop a link for Brian, he's working on some great new stuff, by the way. There's a sneak peek video he's doing with some coming attractions of some stuff he's working on. So please drop a link. Oh, Dave, I love it. Orange juice OJ. Okay, but let me read the next question before I give away the answers. This famous celebrity is actually a relation to Dr. Hattie Davis. Is it A, Ozzie Davis, B, Gina Davis, C, Viola Davis, or D, Sammy Davis Jr.? Oh, my flock. It's who's Brian? It's Music, Movies, and More with Brian. I just refer to him as Brian because I know him on a first name basis. Oh, Keith says it's freezing in Tennessee. I'm so sorry. And John P. Adventure says, I'm glad I'm here. Sarah introduced me to Thrash. Thank you. I'm very glad we were introduced as well. And Dave says, who is Ozzy Osbourne? He was with Black Sabbath many years ago. Anyway, I'll repeat the question. This famous celebrity is actually a relation to Dr. Hattie Davis. Is it Ozzie Davis, B. Gina Davis, C. Viola Davis, or D. Sammy Davis Jr.? And you know what? It looks like most of you already got the joke because I'm getting very few answers. This was brilliant. There actually is no Dr. Hattie Davis. Michael Che completely invented her. He made her up. She's played by an actress named Daphne Skeeter. And he made up this backstory about how she was this famous poet and activist. And I was so embarrassed because I hadn't heard of her. So I actually did some research and found out that the whole thing was actually a ploy by Michael Che to embarrass Colin still further. And it worked, and it was absolutely brilliant. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the joke swap because, well, it gets a little... It can be offensive to some viewers more than understand. But I thought this gimmick was absolutely brilliant. Oh, and Brian says, I'm sorry I missed your podcast. I can watch it after the fact, right? Generally, yeah, if they post it, definitely. So anyway, that was that little story there. So anyway, well, I'm glad you guys, I'm glad we were able to get through the trivia. Few technical difficulties, not as many as I've had in the past. And Emily says, I love the joke swap. I think it's very funny too, actually. And Danny says, hey, John, I saw what you said about dog poops channel. Better watch it, bud. And John P. Adventure says, music. And Rachel's like, I was just guessing, LOL. Well, you must have guessed correctly. Number one dude says, fun as always. Thank you very much. And Emily says, the white dude can't do one skit without blushing. No, that's actually the funniest part about Colin Jost is he is so easily embarrassed. Although this last time, even Michael Che got embarrassed a couple times. It was delicious. Now, let's just... Keith says, is Frozen went back to the beginning, and that's an interesting trick. Oh, so you're watching me in replay. Oh, it's not freezing as though it's cold. It's freezing as in I'm freezing. But you're watching in replay because it's already downloaded. That's cool. You just can't comment. But Keith, I want to thank you very, very much for your attempt. Thank you very much. And Cindy is saying, have a good night to Mr. Wilkinson. Christopher. Christopher, it looks like good night to Cindy and Emily. Christopher, thank you so much for joining us. By the way, it was great having you here. Take care of yourself and to everyone else as well. Probably should think about wrapping things up in the next few minutes or so. I know everyone wants to go to Dave's channel after this one. And look who's here. Only 257 says, only 257. I'm so glad you could make it. We'll be here doing this for a few more minutes before everyone goes over to Dave's channel. And Cindy D says, good night, all. Cindy, so glad you could make it tonight. By the way, it was great to see you again. As always. And again, to everyone else as well. Looks like most of you are still here. We still got 23 people still viewing. And that's a pretty high rate. Kevin says, I can only text when I'm at a stoplight. But I got that last one. Yes, don't text and drive. Don't risk your life or limb for my show, by the way, Kevin. But thank you for watching. And John says, Danny, you're good to me. I'm cool. Very sporting of you, John. And Scott says, okay, have a great night, everyone. Scott, so glad you could make it. Emily Miller says, sweet dreams, y'all. And a sweet dreams, y'all, to you, too. Oh, and, I think you guys are commenting, which is great. You guys are commenting, but I think when it comments a lot, that's when I can't spotlight a comment. Cindy says, you too, Thrash. Thank you. And Jobby Adventures is sending smiles to Emily. And Dominic D says, great live stream, Bob. See you later. And thank you so much for sticking it out with, again, hopefully these are just some minor glitches, but I'm glad you guys stuck it out. Keithy says, I think Dave's channel is members only. I think this live stream is open. I think the live stream is open. I'm not 100%. If I invite you to something that you can't go to, please forgive me. And Dave says, I know nothing. I know nothing. And Tracy says, see everyone on Dave's live, guys. Yes, you certainly will. You certainly will. But don't stay up too late. You have a big day tomorrow. And Melissa says, can't miss Dave's live stream. An awesome Sunday and a perfect way to end of the weekend. I know, right? I love Dave's streams. Love mine too. And Wajameen says, good night, everyone. Great show as always. Wajameen, I'm so glad you could make it, by the way. Love the stuff you've been putting out. Great laughs. And again, thank you for joining us. Have a great one. And thank you, Thrash. Esmeralda, thank you as well. So glad you could make it. Hopefully you will continue to join us. And Denny says, am I back? I just glitched again. I think I'm having internet issues is the thing. Dave says, don't eat too many tomatoes. They will attack you. Attack of the killer tomatoes. And John P. Adventure says, been busy. Night, glad to catch you, Thrash. And an awesome chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And my says, hands, yellow, heart, red, hands, yellow, heart, red, hands, yellow, heart, red. And a hands, yellow, heart, red to you too. And Dennis Dayton says, good night, all. And good night to you. See you at Dave's, I'm sure. And Brian says, you are freezing up there, Thrash, LOL. Yeah, like I said, I'm having internet issues. You know what? It's pretty much, it's like quarter of now. I usually wrap up by 9. I know all of us who can want to go to Dave's channel. So I think we'll call it a night here. But anyway, thank you very much for dropping another link, by the way, Dan. That's very, very, very cool of you. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for being here. It looks like people are dropping like flies. We went from 24 down to 16 in about 2 minutes. Thank you guys all for showing up. I'm so glad I was able to have this live chat tonight. I will definitely be doing this again next Sunday, again, same time, 7:30. I want you guys to have a good week. I'm probably going to put out some more content on my content channel this week. We'll have to see. Thank you guys for your wonderful response to my latest dad jokes post. That was great of you. Again, and let's just see. John says, great name, sis, too. I assume you mean Sister Sarah. Indeed, indeed. And Kevin's got 76. William Shatner was on Good Times. Proved me wrong. I believe it. I believe it. And Cindy D says, great trivia for Black History Month, Thrash. Thank you very much, Cindy. Thank you very much. Teb requested I do that. And, I can never resist a request for members. And it was very appropriate, I thought, too, by the way. And I very much enjoyed doing it. But thank you for noticing. And my flock has given us another link. Excellent. And again, John says, I'll try. Good night. And a good night to all of you guys. Remember, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.